Let me just start off by saying that I absolutely love Frasier. It's an 11-season-long sitcom which ran from 1993 to 2004 about radio psychiatrist Frasier Crane, which spun off from the character's popularity on Cheers. And despite it being as long as it was, the show's quality stayed remarkably consistent throughout. Still, there's a lot of episodes that Frasier fans can't stand for one reason or another, and looking at the worst parts of something is a good way of seeing what works about the good parts. And bright lights cast heavy shadows. Some people think the worst episode of the series is Some Assembly Required, the one where Frasier makes a house with habitat for humanity, and then pushes himself into the residents' lives. This episode also had a bad secondary plot, with Daphne's mother Gertrude Moon working at Nervosa, with Gertrude being at her most obnoxious here. In fact, many say that any episode with the Moons could be their worst one, and that they actively skip them, with Simon and his atrocious attempt at Cockney being another point of annoyance for people.
And good thing too, as it was an especially good time for me to get out of England.
God, he talks just like a prince.
And her other brothers, played by Richard E. Grant and Robbie Coltrane, who played Hagrid in Harry Potter. And even Brian Cox as Daphne's dad are also generally disliked. Some dislike all of season 6, probably stemming from the overarching plot of Daphne beginning to date and ultimately getting engaged to Donnie Douglas. Season 7 is similarly disliked because of Niles' relationship with Mel. At this point in the show, they had been teasing a possible relationship between Daphne and Niles for so long that artificially dragging this out by introducing the two to new romantic interests felt forced to a lot of people. The section of episodes with Donnie trying to sue Daphne and Frasier and Mel forcing Niles to pretend they are still dating are also disliked by some people, who were probably sick and tired of these characters getting in the way of Niles and Daphne at this point. Although not everyone. The opinion on this, like everything in this video, differs from person to person. But there does seem to be a bit of a common theme of disliking the gentrification of Daphne. That Daphne's personality changed a lot after she married Niles, and that she went from a fun, quirky character to a pretty dislikable, dominating, derogatory and nagging one. More importantly, after Niles and Daphne got together, the show lost its major subplot. Niles longing for Daphne and the ends with which he went trying to impress her were some of the funniest parts of the series. I personally liked a lot of what they did with the relationship. Binging the entire show over a short period made me appreciate them trying new things, and a will they won't they can only keep going for so long. A lot of people really disliked the Nanny G episode, mainly because of this scene, but I think it's mostly fine. The fact that she is actually a returning character from Cheers was also a fun discovery for me. The Fat Daphne episodes and the Big Nose episode are seen as body shaming. Jane Leaves was pregnant in real life, and that was their solution to dealing with it. But not everyone thinks they handled it properly, especially when Daphne fell, and Martin's first and last statements about it were both fat jokes. Very out of character of him and extremely mean-spirited. And the episode where they look back at Niles' memories of Daphne after she gained weight kinda ruins some of the best moments from earlier. Ross and the Schnoss is an entire episode consisting of the regular cast making fun of two guest characters because they have ridiculously large noses, and was very much beneath the clever comedy, which made the show the huge success that it was. And it also had some of the worst prosthetics I have ever seen, probably one of the only funny parts about that episode. Dr. Mary is a highly polarizing character within the Frasier fandom. While some fans enjoy her high energy, many strongly dislike her. Her second episode, Merry Christmas, is generally more disliked by the Frasier fanbase than her debut episode. While both episodes frequently rank low on fan lists, they are criticized for entirely different reasons. In her first appearance in season 7, the main source of comedy comes from Frasier being terrified of correcting or firing her, because he doesn't want to appear racist. By the time Mary returns in season 8, the dynamic changes drastically. The episode lacks the tight, witty writing of the earlier seasons. In the first episode, Frasier is a victim of his own social anxieties. In Merry Christmas, he is just petty, jealous, and mean-spirited, because Mary is co-hosting a Christmas parade and stealing his spotlight. In this episode, Mary has leaned entirely into her unearned medical title, publishing a book under Dr. Mary, and claiming her degree is from the School of Hard Knocks. Watching KACL management blindly enable this fraud while ignoring Frasier's legitimate medical credentials frustrates viewers who value the show's usual intelligence. Season 8 is also widely regarded by fans as the weakest season of the entire series due to a change in the showrunning team. Merry Christmas falls right into this slump, offering flat jokes and a severe lack of genuine holiday warmth. The parking garage episode is one of the most commonly cited bad episodes of the show. In Enemy at the Gates, Frasier blocks the exit lane of a parking structure because he did not agree agree with the charges he had to pay when driving out. He had changed his mind about parking immediately after driving in. But the garage parking attendant wants him to pay the minimum. He is furious and holds up everyone behind him because of principle. It was out of character and incredibly petty even for him, and the episode dragged because they don't actually do much. It's just 30 minutes of egotism masquerading as righteousness. He's normally petty, but would not usually inconvenience almost 100 other people. Another often cited bad episode is the one where he is tormented by all of his exes from the series while in a log cabin. I personally think it was fun to see the return of all these characters from Frasier and Cheers, but another disliked episode is the one where they all go to a cabin and have some wild crazy dreams caused by subconscious stress they were facing. Focusing on characters' subconsciousness via their dreams seems less interesting to some people than them dealing with situations in the real world, it seems. I've also seen a few mention the episodes with Anne the insurance agent as particularly bad ones, and the last series in general, which had a noticeable dip in quality to the rest of the show. Personally, The Devil and Dr. Phil is my own second least favorite Frasier episode. I think that may be a bit harsh. Much of the episode actually had me smiling, like Martin's nighttime work antics, the old couple that Niles and Daphne imagines as their future selves, and BB's enthrallment of Frasier. But it is the inclusion of Dr. Phil that has made a lot of Frasier fans unwilling to revisit this episode, and even made me completely forget all of the good parts in it. It can be risky having celebrities guest star as themselves on a sitcom. If it's the right fit, that can lead to some of the best jokes in the series. But if it doesn't work, that's going to suck the viewer out of the show faster than any bad joke ever could.
Stand by camera 6. If it's happening now, we're going to deal with it now.
You would think that a television psychologist would be the perfect celebrity guest star for a show like Frasier. And when this episode aired back in 2003, Phil McGraw was still a licensed psychologist, before allegedly letting his license expire voluntarily in 2006. His show certainly has a foothold here on YouTube. Just know that I hold no ill will towards anyone who likes that show. It is made to be compelling television, and there's a reason why it's popular. But I would like to point you toward a trio of videos made by Big Joel if you'd like to get a better picture of what it is people dislike about the show, and Dr. Phil specifically. Not only is there a history of abuse and unethical treatment allegations against him, both from patients and employees. In 2020, Dr. Phil appeared on Fox News, attempting to downplay the coronavirus pandemic.
45,000 people a year die from automobile accidents, 480,000 from cigarettes, 360,000 a year from swimming pools, but we don't shut the country down for that.
But if I let the views and actions of an actor influence my enjoyment of a show, I wouldn't even get past Kelsey Grammer's political opinions. But it's different when a celebrity plays themselves as opposed to a separate character. So I think it's completely reasonable for anyone to have a bigger issue with something like this. Since Dr. Phil is the big thing people have an issue with in this episode, let's just focus on the parts that actually involve him and leave the rest of the episode out of it. I recommend still giving it a rewatch for the sake of all of those good parts. The episode begins with an introduction to one of the episode's B-plots, and then leads into...
Hey, Frasier, it's your friend again.
Dr. Phil.
Phil McGraw.
I'll be talking about life strategies at the State Theater Friday through Sunday. Come join us. It might just change your life.
There's a doctor.
Yeah, sure. At this point, he did still have his Texas psychology license, so he was a doctor. But it is worth mentioning that he's never been licensed in California, which is where he actually practiced psychology, on his TV show. I feel like this is something Frasier, or at least Niles, would have something to say about, but it never really comes up.
I never knew you were friends with Dr. Phil.
Some years back, we found ourselves running into each other at seminars and conferences. He's an excellent therapist. They had a bit of a clash over ethics.
What did you do? Sleep with a patient?
Not my ethics, his.
Oh, I didn't expect them to take his history so seriously.
The man bilked me out of $200 in a card game.
He did not bilk you. It's called a one-eyed jack.
Oh, yes.
Ah. Hey, I wonder how Ross feels about Dr. Phil.
Daphne told me all about Dr. Phil. I can't believe you know him. Do you think you could get me in backstage?
Big fan. Got it. Seems like everyone on the show absolutely loves the guy. Even Frasier's one issue with him is not related to him as a psychologist or entertainer, which is a common ground between them where you would think there would be a lot of comedy to be mined. Strange. One thing I think is interesting is that Niles doesn't interact with Dr. Phil in any way, not even a comment. Considering his occasional objections to what Frasier does via his radio show, I can only imagine how he would feel about Dr. Phil, which is probably why he isn't even mentioned while Niles is around. You can't have one of the most likable characters on the show airing grievances about turning psychiatry into entertainment when your guest star actually does that in real life, and not always with the subject's well-being at heart. Another problem with having Dr. Phil on the show is that he clearly can't act.
Well, Frasier Crane, is that you? So how are you?
I'm fine. How's Robin?
She's great. Can you believe it? We're going on 27 years.
Congratulations.
Well, and how's Lilith?
Well, we've been divorced now for 10 years.
Congratulations.
He's not like the worst actor of all time or anything, but he delivers all his lines in an almost monotone.
Can you believe after all that time we spent in the seminars that we both turned out to be broadcasters? Boy, those were some good times, weren't they?
Although...
Are you still whining about that $200?
That may not be far from how he actually talks normally, but it certainly does not help in delivering the jokes.
I am so busy. Personal appearances and book signings and interviews. I've got this agent that's got me going 25/8. In fact, speak of the devil, here she comes.
Phil, darling, Frasier.
You guys know each other?
The only joke in this scene that landed for me was...
Frasier, tell you what, let's do email.
Okay.
Probably because he at least did something in terms of acting. Like, I'm not looking for much here. I want to think comedy I'm looking at is funny, so I'll take almost any excuse I can get to laugh at it. But you have to at least give us some amount of effort. After this scene, Dr. Phil disappears from the episode for almost 13 minutes, only vaguely being mentioned as one of BB's clients.
I bet I can make you bigger than Dr. Phil.
At the end of the episode, Phil reappears to reveal for us that he was never actually her client, but instead a part of her ploy to be reinstated as Frasier's agent.
We're square, darling, and maybe next time you gamble with BB, you'll pay your debts with cash.
See, the problem is my wife looks at the bank statements, and if she knew I was losing money playing cards, she would kill me.
This episode has a lot of fun moments, but it does suffer from having a celebrity guest star. I think the episode could have been vastly improved by replacing Dr. Phil with a fictional TV psychologist. Disagreement is an important source for comedy, one that Frasier taps frequently. Every character agreeing that Dr. Phil is a great guy does not lead to a lot of fun jokes, and Frasier bearing a tiny grudge towards him for some money he feels he is owed is not enough either, because he otherwise loves the guy. And crucially, Frasier is in the wrong here. Can't have the great Dr. Phil be presented as having even a tiny character flaw. But if you exchange Dr. Phil for, say, Dr. Krill, a fictional celebrity psychologist, suddenly you have a lot more options for comedy. Maybe all of Frasier's friends and family still loves him, but Frasier absolutely hates him. It could even still be about the gambling, but maybe now Dr. Krill actually did pull one over on Frasier, and is coyly mocking him for it in a way nobody else picks up on, but which infuriates Frasier. I don't know about you, but to me that seems way funnier. Because there's conflict. Conflict between Frasier and Frasier's family because of their different view on Dr. Krill, and of course conflict between Frasier and Dr. Krill himself. It wouldn't have to fill more of the episodes than the Dr. Phil scenes do, but now there would be more happening than just a bunch of guys fangirling over getting Dr. Phil on the show. This celebrity cameo reminds me of bad Simpsons guest stars. The Simpsons have had plenty of great celebrity guest stars over the years. Frasier himself, Kelsey Grammer, had a recurring role there as Sideshow Bob, and another good one is when Rodney Dangerfield appeared as Mr. Burns' long-lost son. But a lot of the cameos where the celebrity appears as themselves are very unfunny, as the writers understandably have trouble being as mean to real people as they would a fictional character, which often just results in the celebrity hanging around the main cast for a bit, not doing much. Just like Dr. Phil in this episode. But why did this episode even happen? At first I thought it was that Frasier and Dr. Phil's show must have been owned by the same network, that the executives had an interest in promoting Phil's show on Frasier. It's hard to be sure with all the parent companies and subsidiaries attached to these networks, but there doesn't seem to be a link there. But both shows did air on the same channel at the time, and was even filmed at the same studio lot. Thanks to YouTuber The Confusing Opinion for working that out, by the way. And check out his video for a more general recap of this whole episode. So since the two shows filmed so close by, chances are that people from the two production teams knew each other, and the guest appearance would be relatively easy to swing, as Phil could just walk from one set over to the other, drone his lines out, and then walk back again. Wow, I can't believe I got this much out of what is basically just the first 5 minutes of a Frasier episode. When I started writing this, I wasn't even sure I would have enough to say to make the video at all, but apparently I did. But the episode Detour from the tail end of the last season is so much worse than anything else in the entire run of the show that I had to make a video about it.
Scrambled eggs all over my face. What is a boy to do?
The episode opens commonly enough with Frasier sitting down to gossip with his friend Ross at Café Nervosa.
Listen, about your dad's bachelor party.
Charlotte and I spent the night together. It's funny I should end up with my own matchmaker, isn't it?
Charlotte was introduced a few episodes earlier as Frasier's matchmaker and would stay an integral character for the show's remaining episodes. Before we get to see Charlotte in this episode, Ross introduces us to the B-plot of the episode. Amberlicious, a possible stripper for Frasier's father's bachelor party.
I'm terribly sorry, but I've got something scheduled, so I'll have to postpone our interview. Perhaps we could meet this evening at my place around 7 o'clock.
Frasier?
Charlotte's remembered that she has to catch a train to Portland, and had just enough time to meet Frasier to cancel their coffee date. Frasier offers to drive her to the train station, and off they go. In the car, after a bit of talking, Charlotte reveals that she'll soon be moving back to Chicago, after buying back her old business from her ex.
I don't want a long-distance relationship, and neither do you.
Lost in conversation, they miss the train, but tries to catch up with it at the next station. Frasier drives too slowly, and they end up having to try to catch up with the train again at the next station. While informing his brother Niles about the B-plot,
The stripper.
Frasier misses the turnoff before his car breaks down. Up until this point, the episode has been okay. Not great, but not the worst episode ever. That is about to change. Frasier and Charlotte knocks on the door of a nearby house, and Sue, the lady of the house, offers to help them.
Harbin, these people's car broke down. Go take a look at it for them. Harbin.
Thank you very much. We certainly appreciate that.
Yeah.
Gosh, you seem to be preparing for some sort of a party.
Well, Harbin's mother passed away, so people will be coming over tomorrow.
Oh my God.
Okay, so far so good. Frasier accidentally overstepping hospitality in a fraught situation seems very in line with the rest of the show. This could work.
This is my son, Jonathan. Isn't he handsome?
You want a butterscotch?
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this character, so let's just check back with him later.
Hey, Ronnie, it's me. I got to interview a new physical therapist to fill in for Daff, so pick me up 15 minutes later, okay?
I wonder where this is going.
You're hired.
So I don't mind the B-plot in this nearly as much as I do the main plot. There's a few good jokes, and there's more to it than what we'll come across in this video. But Frasier has done similar mix-up stories much more successfully in the past. If you were to compare this stripper physical therapist plotline to something like Season 5's Halloween episode, which is possibly the best episode of Frasier, the stripper mix-up would feel incredibly rushed and half-hearted. The episode revolves around a Halloween ball Niles is hosting, where you have to go dressed as a literary character.
Dr. Crane is going as Geoffrey Chaucer from the Canterbury Tales, and I'll be dressed as the wife of Bath.
Yes, and a saucy little strumpet she is, too.
An important piece of backstory to be aware of during this episode is that Niles has been in love with Martin Crane's physical therapist Daphne for years, but he is unable to pursue her because he is stuck in a loveless marriage.
Join me in my bedchamber, my lord.
After you, my juicy wench.
My juicy wench? No, not you, Maris.
Before the party, Ross tells Frasier that she might be pregnant, but tells him to keep it secret until she gets the results back. Now, the Halloween ball itself is so packed with jokes that it would take ages for me to sum everything up, and it would be kind of pointless for me to just play the episode for you in full. If you haven't seen it, I wholeheartedly recommend you do so. But in the interest of moving this along, let's have a mix-up rundown in which I list every major misunderstanding that occurs during this party. Starting with...
A few years back, I got rear-ended. Is that what happened to you? Must have happened to me at least a dozen times.
Well, of course, nothing's certain until we get the pregnancy test results.
Pregnancy?
Oh, dear.
Tell everyone I forced you to do it.
All right.
I know about the baby.
Who told you?
I heard it from Daphne's own lips.
Blabbermouth, I'll wring her neck.
What has she got to do with this? He's the father. What? Are you kidding me?
Now let's have a look at the misunderstandings in the subplot of Detour.
At first I just did it for friends, but then I thought, why am I giving this away when I can make money at it?
We're not expecting anything fancy, just the basic burping, diapering, and so forth.
Okay, I guess I'm game for that.
Well, maybe you could show me your stuff.
Oh.
I'll never hear the end of it if I don't take you out for a spin.
The first two misunderstandings in Halloween are quickly resolved, as Frasier and Daphne clears up that they are talking about Ross maybe being pregnant, leaving us with three central misunderstandings, same as in Detour. The difference being the complexity of what's going on. In Detour, we have Niles believing something untrue about a completely new character, Daphne believing something about another new character, and then Martin believing something else about that same new character. It is very direct, and the comedy comes from seeing these three speaking and acting inappropriately to these new characters they are mistaking for someone else. In Halloween, all the misunderstandings are about characters that we and the other characters already know. Niles thinking that Frasier has gotten Daphne pregnant is funnier than Niles thinking that this random woman is a stripper, because he knows Frasier and Daphne, and we also know how ridiculous this would be. Each of these misunderstandings carry with them a bunch of jokes, and there are also a lot of other unrelated jokes that pop up because of the party setting, which also gives some characters that don't usually interact a reason to do so. Oh, and here's a fun fact. The woman dressed as Eve that Frasier's flirting with throughout the episode was actually Kelsey Grammer's wife at the time, so no wonder they were hitting it off. I must say it's much easier to go on and on about stuff that doesn't work than about just plain good TV. This is still one of my favorite Frasier episodes, and I absolutely recommend going back to watch it. I guess what I'm saying is that this part of the episode would be a pretty decent joke in a lesser show, but Frasier trained me to expect better. But I probably wouldn't even care about this if it was attached to a better A-plot, so let's just get back to the main storyline. The family offers Frasier and Charlotte a place to stay for the night, so that they can get their car fixed in the morning. But it turns out that they have to sleep in the same room as Harbin's dead mother.
We're having the wake here tomorrow.
Mama, love to party.
Yeah, she loved a party all right with me as her personal slave, doing all the cooking and the cleaning and the wiping her sorry sugar.
Hey, come on, you know the Frasier rules. The kitchen is a totally separate dimension where nobody in the living room can hear what you're talking about. You know this. Later, in the middle of the night, Frasier and Charlotte wakes up from Jonathan working on a project we learned about earlier.
How was your project today, baby?
Fine, Mother.
So, what are you making?
Art. He won't let any of us see it till it's finished.
Grandma? It's Jonathan. I just wanted to tell you that our little secret is still safe.
This is the last time we see or hear anything about his character. There's no resolution to whatever his project was about, no reason for his general creepiness, and nothing that could relate to this quote. Were we just supposed to assume that this guy is or will be a serial killer? Is it supposed to be riffing on a horror movie or real serial killer I don't know about? It could be, but I looked and I couldn't really find anything that this could be parodying. What this really feels like is a crossover episode. The characters in this family are so distinct from one another, and from anyone else we've ever seen on Frasier. So it really feels like these people are visiting from another show. Which is why I think this was supposed to be a backdoor pilot. In a similar way to how Frasier started when Cheers ended, I think the creators of this episode wanted to continue on with a show about this weird family. The difference being, of course, that Frasier had already been a character on Cheers for years before getting his own show. But I think they were really set on this creepy murder family sitcom, and just wanted to cram them in there before Frasier ended. This is all just speculation, of course, but that's what this feels like. And it's the only reasonable explanation for all the things they are setting up with this family that goes nowhere. Oh yeah, we're not actually done with the episode yet, are we? After Jonathan leaves the room, and the series forever, Harbin sneaks in, taking care not to wake his sleeping guests.
Hi, Mom. I can't believe I'm not gonna get one more hug. What's that? One more? Ooh. I better go, Mama. I'm sorry I scraped your head with my watch.
You know, he said the same thing to my engine when he opened the hood.
You f***ing dick. Here this grieving man, who has to be burying his mother the next day, is trying to have his last goodbye with what still remains of her. This is his last chance to be alone with his mother before the house fills up with grievers in the morning. And Frasier is making fun of him for it, by referencing Harbin's attempt to help them. All of this feels completely out of place in this show. Not only is Frasier displaying a total lack of empathy that does not seem like the character we know and love, but the jokes themselves does not seem like they belong in this show. Frasier is not a show that finds most of its comedy in making fun of people. The best jokes in the series comes from the situations the characters find themselves in, often born from some confusion or mix-up. When the show does poke fun at someone, it is more often than not Frasier and Niles who are the butt of the jokes, usually for being uppity and taking themselves too seriously. But it is never malicious, and the show always makes you feel for the characters. This is different. This episode is actively using a grieving, clearly unstable family as a punchline. This is a show about a kind radio psychiatrist, who's good at his job and wants to help people.
Claire, you are in mourning. But you're not mourning the loss of your boyfriend. You're mourning the loss of what you thought your life was going to be.
This is the only time in the entire run of the show that he is this insensitive about the psychological well-being of someone he meets. This family is so clearly in need of help and counseling that this could have been a sort of final trial for him to go out on before the series ended. Instead, he and his girlfriend mocks them. This is not Frasier, and this is not a character that I am interested in watching. Now, the point of this episode is that Frasier and Charlotte are still having a good time in each other's company, even when they're in a pretty uncomfortable situation, showing why they should try to stay together. But when they're having fun together at the expense of someone else's sorrow, that makes me root for the end of the relationship, rather than for its success. The episode was directed by Frasier himself, Kelsey Grammer, but I don't think he is responsible for what I dislike about it. He has previously directed some really good episodes, and I think the direction in this episode is fine. The things that actually bother me has to have originated with the writer, Chris Marcil, and possibly his writing and production partner, Sam Johnson, who produced the episode. But although the two of them were also responsible for the second worst episode of the entire show, The Devil and Dr. Phil, I'm not going to throw them entirely under the bus either. Most of the Frasier episodes they worked on were good, and they have worked on a lot of other fun shows, everything from Daria to How I Met Your Mother. The first Frasier episode they worked on was Radio Wars, after joining the Frasier team when the sitcom News Radio ended in 1999, on which they worked on a lot of episodes. The actor playing Hiram in this episode was actually one of the main characters on News Radio, which I think lends more credence to my theory that this was an attempt at a backdoor pilot. But no matter the reason the episode turned out the way it did, I think it is important to recognize the incredible talent of the people who worked on it. That out of 264 episodes I can only point out 2 episodes that I really hate is pretty good. So let's keep it positive. Let me know something that you love about Frasier down in the comments. Be it a really good episode, a running gag, an actor, or anything else you can think of. And if you'd like to see more of my videos, you'd make my day if you hit the subscribe button. That is actually a dopamine button linked directly to my brain. In any case, thanks for watching this video, and I hope I'll see you here for the next one. Signing off.